This is Chapter 6 of What Grows After Goodbye by Alexi Hart.
On Monday, Natalie returned to a normal routine. If normal now included being slightly dizzy with happiness whenever her phone pinged. She spent the morning at her part-time job at the bookstore, stocking new releases and recommending novels to patrons. Mrs. Pettigrew, a regular, asked if there were any new cozy mysteries featuring cats. Natalie smiled and pulled a copy of Pause and Prejudice from the shelf. Every so often, she glanced at her phone, where a series of messages from Michael remained on the home screen.
Michael, Dad attempted to weed the garden while Mom was at the store. He made it halfway across the lawn before she caught him. The man is unstoppable. Natalie, remind me to bring banana bread. Michael, it might pacify him. Also, what's your opinion on pumpkin spice lattes in August? Asking for a friend. She laughed, texting back a snarky reply about seasonal flavors. After her shift, she met Darlene for lunch at the diner. They slid into their usual booth, the Formica table sticky from a previous patron's syrup. "So," Darlene said, waggling her eyebrows, "how are the cinnamon roll man and you?" Natalie rolled her eyes but couldn't stop the smile. "That's it. Great. We hung out Saturday. My kitchen still smells like icing." "You better put that on the market," Darlene said. "Men love the smell of sugar." She stirred her iced tea. "Any drama yet? Because I'm here for it." Natalie snorted. "No drama, unless you count his mom showing up unexpectedly." Darlene nearly dropped her fork. "Shut up, you met his mother? Already? That's huge. Did she bring a magnifying glass to inspect your uterus?" "Darlene!" "I'm saying some mothers—" "She was lovely," Natalie interrupted. "She wanted a cinnamon roll recipe and gave me a hug. Michael was mortified." Darlene smirked. "I like her already? So what's next? Have you discussed, the bedroom?" Natalie's face went up in flames. "We are taking things slow." "Slow is great," Darlene said, stabbing her salad. "Remember, slow doesn't have to mean never. You deserve fun, Nat. A good orgasm." He didn't let the distance return. He tucked her in against his chest, breathing with her until her heartbeat slowed, thumbs tracing small circles over her skin like he was memorizing every shiver. "I'm here," he murmured, and she believed it. Natalie pointed her fork at her friend. "Why do I tell you things?" "Because you love me and because I say the things you're thinking." Darlene popped a crouton in her mouth. "Anyway, I heard through the PTA grapevine that the community center fundraiser is next month and they're looking for volunteers." Natalie groaned. "No, absolutely not." Darlene shrugged. "You owe me after I saved you from bang trauma. I signed us up." "Darlene, it'll be fun. You need to socialize. You can force Mr. Handsome to help us. He can wear a tool belt and fix things." Natalie sighed. Darlene's ability to rope her into events was legendary. "Fine, but if I have to coordinate bake sale tables again, I'm blaming you." She texted Michael about the fundraiser later, half expecting him to come up with an excuse. Instead, he replied, "Michael, a community center fundraiser? Sounds like something my mom will guilt me into anyway. Count me in." The next couple of weeks fell into a comfortable rhythm. Michael came over for dinner one night, and Natalie made chicken piccata while he told her stories about Atlanta and taught her how to use her smart TV's voice commands. She baked banana bread for his father, and in return, his mother delivered a container of homemade pimento cheese. They went on walks at dusk, holding hands as cicadas hummed and watching the sky change colors. They learned to occupy spaces together without filling silence for the sake of it. Reading on opposite ends of the couch, him tinkering with an old radio he found at a yard sale while she organized her spice cabinet. One day, Natalie sat on her back porch, flipping through a design magazine and sipping iced tea. Michael had gone into Gainesville for a doctor's appointment with his father. He had invited her to come, but she'd declined, wanting to give the family space. She had turned the page to an article about farmhouse kitchens when her phone buzzed. "Michael, you up for company in a bit?" She smiled and typed back, "Natalie, always. Everything okay?" "Michael, yeah. Need some time away from hospital smell. He showed up an hour later with dark circles under his eyes and tension written across his shoulders. Natalie set her magazine aside and met him at the door. "Hey," she said. "How's your dad?" "Stubborn," Michael said, forcing a smile. "Which is good. He's making progress. But hospitals make me feel like I'm drowning in bleach." He slipped his shoes off and collapsed onto the couch, sighing. "Sometimes guilty, like, maybe if I'd been here, he wouldn't have had a stroke." Natalie sat next to him and took his hand. "You don't know that. Genetics and stress and a million other things play a role. You're here now. That's what matters." He squeezed her hand. "I know. Rationally, emotionally, it's a mess." She rested her head on his shoulder. "We're all messes." They sat quietly for a moment until he turned his head to kiss her hair. "What are you reading?" She huffed a laugh. "A magazine about kitchens. It's making me wish I could knock down a wall and install French doors." "Do it," he said immediately, then pointed at the wall behind them. "We could knock that out in a day, probably." She raised an eyebrow. "You are not allowed to use a sledgehammer near any wall in my house. Remember the shelf incident of 2024? He grinned. "Fine, but if you ever decide, I'm your guy." They spent the afternoon lazily, watching a baking competition show and rating the contestants' creations, napping in a tangle on the couch, sharing leftover cookies. As evening fell, Michael's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and frowned. "What's wrong?" Natalie asked. "It's an email from my former CFO," he said, sitting up. "They want me to consult on a new project in New York." Her stomach dropped. "Oh." He skimmed the email, his brows furrowing. "They're offering a ridiculous amount of money. It would be 6 months, maybe longer. They want me to move back to Atlanta first, then split time between there and New York." He set his phone down. "I thought I was done with this, but the project is interesting. It's a nonprofit platform to help small businesses with financial literacy. It could be big." Natalie's mind raced. She didn't own him. She hadn't even known him for long. Yet the thought of him leaving, of dinners and puzzles and cinnamon rolls ending, sent a wave of panic through her. She steadied herself. "What do you want to do?" she asked. He rubbed his temples. "I don't know. I love working on things that matter. I'd be lying if I said the money isn't tempting, but my dad is still recovering. My mom needs help, and there's you." He looked at her, his expression torn. "We started this. It feels important. I don't want to ruin it because I can't say no to the next shiny project." Natalie, his expression softened. "I can't make the decision for you. I don't want to be the reason you pass up an opportunity you'd regret. But I'm not a 6-month layover. I'm not someone you date while you're waiting for the next flight." His eyes widened. "I don't think of you like that at all. He broke off, searching for words. "You deserve someone who chooses you. I want to be that person. I don't know how, but I want to find a way to be here and do work that matters." They sat in heavy silence for a few minutes. Natalie wished there was an easy answer, some path that allowed them to keep this bubble they'd created intact. But life rarely offered such grace. "We don't have to figure it out tonight," she said, reaching over to intertwine their fingers. "Think about it. Talk to your mom and dad. See if there's a compromise." He nodded, squeezing her hand. "Okay." He forced a smile. "Enough gloom. Want to watch me make pasta? I've been practicing." Natalie smiled, grateful for the shift. "Only if we can eat it." He grinned. "Deal." A few days later, they attended the planning meeting for the community center fundraiser. The meeting was held in a fluorescent-lit room at the center itself, with metal folding chairs arranged in a circle. Mrs. Givens presided over the group, wearing a blazer with shoulder pads and clutching a clipboard like a weapon. Darlene sat next to Natalie, whispering commentary in her ear. "I propose we do a silent auction, a bake sale, and a raffle," Mrs. Givens announced. The theme will be Roaring Twenties because everyone loves a flapper dress. Can we serve alcohol? Someone asked hopefully. No, Mrs. Givens snapped. This is a family event. Michael raised his hand. What about a live band? I know some guys from high school who still play gigs. They could do jazz. Mrs. Givens looked at him over her glasses. Michael Lawson, I didn't recognize you without braces. That's a wonderful idea. Would they do it for free? I can ask, he said, grinning. Excellent. Natalie, you can handle decorations with Darlene. Natalie stared. What? Why me? Because you have good taste and because Darlene cannot be trusted with a budget, Mrs. Givens declared. And Michael, since you're tech-savvy, you can create a website where people can buy raffle tickets ahead of time. Sure, Michael said, looking at Natalie and mouthing, help. She stifled a smile. Also, Natalie, we will need you to spearhead the bake sale. I am not baking 70 pies, Natalie said quickly. Not again. Relax, Darlene whispered. We'll outsource. Ava's friends bake for Instagram clout now. As the meeting droned on, Natalie found herself glancing at Michael. His expression vacillated between amusement and mild panic at the number of tasks Mrs. Givens piled onto him. He scribbled notes on a pad, occasionally looking up to catch her eye and make a face. It felt like being back in high school, passing notes during homeroom. She felt a rush of affection. After the meeting, they stayed behind to clean up. Michael stacked chairs while Natalie collected stray papers. Darlene cornered her in the hallway. So, Darlene whispered, glancing around. I heard through the grapevine that Michael got offered some fancy job in New York. Natalie's heart skipped. Already? Small towns, Darlene said, shrugging. Nothing stays secret. Word is he turned them down. Natalie's breath caught. What? Darlene nodded. Yep, told them his family needed him. He likes it here. At least, that's what Betty from the bank said. She has a nephew who plays poker with Michael's cousin. So, you know. Natalie felt her throat tighten. Hope and fear tangled within her. She hadn't expected him to decide so soon. She hadn't even known he'd answer them. She wanted to ask him directly, but didn't want to pry in front of Darlene. Michael approached carrying the last stack of chairs. You ladies gossiping about me? He asked teasingly. Always, Darlene said, giving him a pointed look. Do the right thing, Lawson. She patted his arm and walked away. Michael watched her go, then turned to Natalie, frowning. What did I miss? Did you respond to that email? She asked, careful to keep her tone neutral. He sighed. Yes, I told them no. They offered more money, which was flattering, but it didn't feel right. My dad's progress depends on routine. My mom would be alone. He hesitated, then met her gaze. I want to be here, with you. Emotion washed over her. Relief, gratitude, guilt that she felt relief and gratitude. Are you sure? He nodded. I am. I don't want to be the guy who always picks work over people. She stepped closer, reaching up to touch his face. Thank you. I don't want you to have regrets because of me, but I'm selfishly glad. He covered her hand with his. We'll figure out work. Maybe I'll start my own thing here. I've been talking to some folks about building a co-working space in Gainesville. It could be fun. A spark of excitement lit in her. That sounds amazing, like something you'd be great at. He smiled. Will you help me design the kitchen? Only if I can veto open shelving. He laughed. Deal. They left the community center and walked through the dark parking lot to their cars. Crickets sang, and the air was thick with late summer heat. Michael's hand brushed hers, then slid into her palm. Their fingers laced together naturally. Like we're teenagers again, Natalie said, squeezing his hand. In the best way, he replied. She thought back to high school, how she'd never looked at Michael as more than Ben's quiet friend. Life was strange and wonderful. It brought people back around when you least expected it. It gave second chances. As they reached her car, he pulled her close and kissed her, slow and lingering. There was no rush, no frenzy, the simple deepening knowledge that this was exactly where they were supposed to be, even if the road ahead was uncertain. When they broke apart, he pressed his forehead to hers. "You know," he murmured. "Mrs. Given said the theme is the Roaring Twenties. Does that mean I get to see you in fringe and pearls?" She chuckled. "Only if you wear a fedora and learn to Charleston." "I can hack into complex systems, but I cannot Charleston," he said solemnly. "We all have our limits." "We'll practice," she promised, laughing. He kissed her nose. "I'll see you tomorrow. Don't bake 70 pies." His thumb found the pulse at her throat, like he was keeping time with her. "No promises." As she drove home, the summer night stretching out in front of her, Natalie felt both the weight of impending challenges and the buoyancy of hope. Life was shifting, ripples spreading out across calm water. She didn't know where the waves would lead, but she was ready to ride them.